Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna talk about probably the best Ableton stock device if you are making techno, and it's Ableton Shifter. And here is why. Let's go into Ableton. So the first reason is because it can easily make everything sounds weird and metallic, which is perfect for techno. So for example, I have this tab here, and which sounds nice, but if you want something a bit more weird, you just take your shifter and you switch to frequency, and then you can just play with the coarse parameter, and you instantly got some weird tone. And the great thing is you have as well the ring mode, which is ring modulation, and again, just it will sound very weird by default. Can try different value. So this works perfectly as well for drum and percussion one-shot sound. So for example, I have this 4 percussion sound, and if you want to easily appropriate them or make them sound weird, just grab the shifter, frequency mode, again go negatively, and you got something different. Same with the ring, and you can change the course obviously. Speaking of appropriate the sound, you can also work with scent or texture. For example, I've got this texture here, and you can use the frequency shifter again to pitch it up, for example. But you can also have fun and duplicate and either play again with the frequency shifter or play with the ring modulation. And in no time you can appropriate yourself and really shape it the way you want, tonically. Now, another use that is very common in techno is to basically modulate the pitch of the ride. So you can use a classic tuner from your sampler, but using frequency shifter is better because it will not change the length of your sample. For example, if you pitch it up, it will not straighten the sample. It will keep more or less the same length. So again, you have your ride and you switch to frequency, and then you can play with the fine. So you can do this manually, or obviously you can use the LFO. So we're gonna change the rate to something very slow, and the amount we're gonna match, for example, the 500 Hz from the fine. So alright, now let's talk about some more weird way and original way to use it. So with LFO you can do more than just slow modulation, and that's why you can really creative and get things weird. So that's what we're gonna check now, some kind of weird way to. So I have this, and we're gonna keep in pitch mode this time. We're gonna put the LFO to triangle 16, and we're gonna modulate all the way. And you can see it starts getting weird. We're just gonna adjust the rate, so we're gonna put in sync. And then obviously it's dependent kind of your pattern as well, but here what's works well is 3/8, so now we get this weird modulation. So another weird way to modulate the pitch is by using a square LFO. Basically we'll go from one stage to another, and that can create jump in pitch, which can be interesting and add extra tone to your melody. So we're gonna set to square, and again the amount is depends. Let's say around 6 semitone. And obviously here again the rate we're gonna sync, and it's depend of your pattern, the length, the note, and you have to see with the groove what works the best. Here it's 1/6, and you get something like this. Another way to use the LFO is to have the rate so fast that you can almost kind of using the sound as a FM sound. So here I have this patch, and you can, for example, crank up the amount and crank up the rate until you get something very weird. Alright, so the next tip is not from me, it's from Dafresh. It's an established music producer. He also got a YouTube channel with some very cool tips, so I will recommend to check it out. I will put it in the description. And the idea was to basically use a shifter to kind of detune your synth or your sound. So like you would do in a classic synthesizer, you will have oscillator 1 and you will slightly detune oscillator 2 to add a bit of weird detune effect, kind of unison. So in order to do that, you need obviously to have your dry wet around 50%. So this way you have 50% of your dry signal, 50% of the detune one. So we're gonna detune, and you're gonna slightly start to hear You can always also work with the white button, which is great to add some stereo. Now, because obviously you can detune the pitch, you can modulate the pitch the way you want, and you can create all of your classic kind of effect that you will be able to do in a synth, but with this device. So for example, you will get a vibrato if you set your rate around 8 Hz and then just add a subtle amount. Alright, so you can use the shifter also as kind of a flanger if you switch it to a frequency, and the idea is to put it in wide and to slightly detune it, so it's just like very gentle. And if I bring down the dry wet, you start to have this movement and kind of flanger effect. You can also kind of create this tape emulation of flutter and roll, like kind of slow pitch modulation. That can be great if you are looking for this kind of analog vibe. So here I will switch to sync, select 3/8 and then slightly. Maybe no fade, and then you can play with the and this way you have this kind of weird effect. Now if I just put the 4 effects I just show you, detune, flanger, vibrato and tape effect together, so you can go from something like this to something like this, which is quite interesting. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon guys, bye bye.